Hello, I'm Eleonora from Bolzano. I'm a researcher with EURAC Research. EURAC Research is one of the partners of Volpower, which is a project that lasts 2 years and is supported by the AMIF program, Asylum, Migration, Integration Fund. I'm a cultural manager and a researcher, have a background in some bit of documentary and some bit of performing arts. I worked also for the tourism sector, and now I'm part of the Institute for Regional Development. Volpower for me is opening new horizons, triggering curiosity. It is about discovering artistic skills. It's about sharing fears, hopes, thoughts, emotions, and expressing them through arts. It's about seeing also how other people learn and to understand how to best also learn by yourself. It's about finding the courage to approach another person, to start the interaction. It's about feeling more self-secure and also being willing to open up. And it's maybe also and especially about helping through volunteering. Here in South Tyrol, we have worked with 7 young volunteers. One is still a high school student, has now finished high school, so she was the youngest one. There are 3 others that have started their studies and are university students, and the rest who is actually already working. Some of them are locals, so have been raised and born here in South Tyrol, belong to the German and to the Italian-speaking community. And then there are some that come from Nigeria, and one participant who also has a Bangladesh background. As a part of the team for EURAC Research, I have been following up the group of volunteers that we had been selecting over the summertime. The group is composed by young people that were interested in trying out something new. There are some of them who are actually from Bolzano and the surrounding areas, so locals, let's say, from the German and from the Italian-speaking community. And others of them have a background of another country. So it has been a nice combination of young people meeting up for this project. So the Volpower project was looking for young people aged 18-27 in this region of South Tyrol who were interested to do some volunteering experience. And this volunteering experience had to be done in the cultural sector. So we were also accompanying them in creating some new path to collaborate with organizations of the cultural sector in South Tyrol. And it was nice to also give them some training to unfold their own creative and artistic skills. In this group, there were people who had already done some volunteering before and others that have no experience at all. There were some that had done some experiences in the cultural sector, especially for videoing, documenting, photography, or some bit of theater as well. Others had no experience at all. And so it was nice to see them explore a new kind of combination of activities that were being volunteering and artistic activities. In the first period of the project, we actually worked together with OEB. And in this case, it's an organization based in Bressanone, which is focusing mainly in integration work. And here we had the pleasure to collaborate with a production company, or like a theater production. And they were preparing for a theater play talking about mixed couples, like with different cultural backgrounds. And our volunteers were actually asked to go around in the region and find some examples of couples or people who were willing to explain how it feels like to be in this kind of situation. So they were actually practicing to do their first interviews. And afterwards, they were also invited to the rehearsals of the play. And there again, they were trying out their skills to document the production progress, let's say to have an interview with the director and with some of the actors. In the second part of the period of these creative activities, we called them creative hubs. We actually worked on specific creative and artistic skills. So we invited the volunteers as a group to EURAC in several times, like for a 1 or 2 hour session. And together we first tried to do some poetry. Then we did some photography, and at the end even some 1 second a day video sequences. These exercises, or these assignments, let's say, helped us to somehow open up a bit as a group. So I also was involved, so it was a nice experience for myself too. And to also give them a bit of the tool set that they could use also for themselves in their creative unfolding. At the same time, these poetry assignments and also the photography and the videoing helped the participants to somehow show a bit of their own life without having to say it straight away, but using these creative ways to express their feelings, their fears, sometimes also their hopes of a future. And it really helped the group to become much more closer to each other. And it was nice to discover that through the poetry, for example, some of the participants that thought they were too shy suddenly appeared to be very talented and full of nice images. And it was actually a real pleasure even for me to assist them in doing this kind of creative path. And at the end, we also now have some nice materials that our Scottish partner can use for the exhibition. So we're planning to also do a digital art exhibition where these photographs and also the video the participants made, as well as the poems, can be then shown to the wider public or wider audiences. So it was a kind of journey we did together as a group. In the first period, it was more about getting to know each other, having chance to also feel more close as a group, create this kind of sense of belonging and of team building. And the more we continued to work on different activities, also together with the organizations here in the South Tyrolean region, it started to become a more substantial plan of skills that they could also then gain. So there was some training for the participants that helped them to also acquire some professional or artistic skills. And there was also some fun time. So we are planning to also do some social hubs, to have a chance to again meet together with the group and not only be very diligently doing creative assignments or interviews or documentary collection of data, let's say, but it will be also a chance for the group to keep in touch in the future and have some fun now that they know each other, hoping that maybe this can become a moment of a new friendship that can actually start from among them. During the project, there was a part in which we tried also to act in the region. So we tried to bring together different kind of organizations that were willing to support the project. It was organizations from the cultural sector, it was organizations from the social sector, and especially organizations that were already quite experienced in volunteering activities. By bringing these different stakeholders, let's say, or these different associations together, we now kind of have a new community that we can talk to when it comes to also find possibilities for young people to be integrated in their activities and help out. So I think for Volpower, one of the main objectives that we actually managed to also reach was to give to young people the possibility to get an experience with organizations of the territory and be part of a community that is willing to help and to also bring in their own contribution, also with the creative and artistic skills, to then find new itineraries for volunteering work, integrating also the young people and also people with different cultural backgrounds. Using sports and using arts as a tool or a language to bring people together is an approach that helps to start from a neutral basis. Everyone has access to these possibilities. Everyone can actually take part and be contributing through sports or through arts in doing something that can also be of a value to the hosting community. So it's somehow that people that actually don't maybe have a certain set of qualifications or experiences, also young people, for example, or people with a migration background, are more at ease to actually approach an organization by sports or arts and become part of some activities that are intended to help the community. So by doing this kind of volunteering work inside the social cultural sector or sports sector, it's easier for young people to maybe have access, and especially it's also more fun. The young volunteers that we collaborated with, they were also expressing their interest to be part of the community and to help out where there is the need. It was actually nice to hear them say that they actually learned something during the project, which they are now willing to also share with others. So somehow it's about knowledge transfer and about finding also ways to be part of the community, and at the same time feeling stronger maybe as a group that has now a certain preparation to it and is also experiencing this way of being helped by others and therefore willing to help others at the same time. I'm very happy to have seen that some of the volunteers changed over time. So they used maybe at the beginning to be more reserved and shy, and now that we have been doing this journey together, they really opened up a lot. They are more empowered, let's say, to also give their own opinion and tell about their emotional state. It's nice to have seen that friendships have also unfolded among participants, not only within the group of South Tyrolean volunteers, but mainly also with the other international volunteers that met up in Zagabria. And it was also a nice experience to see that volunteers were actually enjoying the time together, learning new things by having fun, and feeling also more connected to the territory, having also more ideas of what they would like to do in the future, be it in the volunteering work, but also as a profession, and helping each other out. So it was a nice experience also to see these social bonds and the sense of belonging that actually unfolded during the project.